The old mansion loomed before us, its turrets reaching like skeletal fingers towards the moon. We had all been friends since college and were excited for a weekend getaway from the hustle and bustle of city life. As we stepped inside, a chill ran down my spine. The air inside was thick and heavy, and I could feel the weight of history bearing down upon me. Our host, Mr. Smith, greeted us with a warm smile, but his eyes seemed to hide a sinister intent. He showed us to our rooms, each one lavishly decorated with ancient artifacts and strange symbols etched into the walls. We spent the first day exploring the mansion and its grounds, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. That night, I awoke to a blood-curdling scream. I rushed out of my room to find my friends gone, but a trail of blood led me to the basement. I hesitated for a moment, wondering if I should investigate further, but my concern for my friends drove me forward. As I made my way down the creaky stairs, the air grew colder and the shadows seemed to twist and writhe around me. I reached the bottom and found myself in a dimly lit room filled with strange and ominous objects. That's when I saw it, a dark ritual in progress, with Mr. Smith at its center. He was chanting in a language I couldn't understand, and his eyes glowed with an otherworldly light. He revealed his true form, a monstrous creature with glowing eyes and twisted limbs. I tried to flee, but it was too late. The darkness consumed me, and I felt myself being pulled into a realm of unspeakable horrors. When I came to, I was lying in my bed, the morning sunlight streaming through the window. It was as if the whole thing had been a dream, but I knew what I saw, and I knew that I had to get out of there as fast as I could. But as I turned to leave, I saw something that made my blood run cold, a symbol etched into the wall, the same symbol that I had seen in the basement. It was then that I realized the horrifying truth. I was still trapped in the mansion, and Mr. Smith's dark ritual was far from over.
In the heart of Chicago, nestled among the bustling streets and towering skyscrapers, stood an old McDonald's. Its golden arches had lost their luster, and the faded sign creaked ominously in the wind. But it was still open for business, serving up greasy fries and lukewarm burgers to weary travelers and late-night revelers. Lena, a young girl with dreams of escaping her mundane life, found herself working the graveyard shift at this dilapidated fast food joint. She had taken the job out of desperation, hoping to save enough money to leave the city behind. But as the days turned into weeks, Lena realized that something was terribly wrong. The restaurant had an eerie vibe, especially after midnight. The flickering fluorescent lights cast long shadows on the cracked linoleum floor. The air smelled of burnt oil and desperation. And then there were the whispers, the faint, ghostly voices that seemed to echo from the kitchen. Lena tried to ignore it all, focusing on her tasks, flipping burgers, filling soda cups, and wiping down sticky tables. But one night, as she mopped the floor near the play area, she heard a child's laughter. She glanced around, expecting to see a lost kid, but the playtubes were empty. The laughter continued, growing louder and more manic. Terrified, Lena rushed to the manager's office. Mr. Thompson, an old man with sunken eyes, sat behind the cluttered desk. His gaze never left the monitor displaying the security camera footage. "Ignore it," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. "They come out at night." "Who?" Lena asked, her heart pounding. "The children," Mr. Thompson replied. "The ones who disappeared years ago. They play in the tubes, laughing and giggling, but they're not alive, Lena. They're trapped here." Lena shuddered. She had heard rumors about the missing children, but she thought they were just urban legends. Yet now, she could feel their presence, the cold breath on her neck, the tiny fingers tugging at her apron. As the nights wore on, Lena saw glimpses of them, the ghostly figures darting through the play tubes, their eyes hollow and pleading. She tried to quit, but Mr. Thompson wouldn't let her. "You're one of us now," he whispered, his face twisted with sorrow. Desperate for answers, Lena researched the restaurant's history. She discovered that decades ago, a fire had consumed the building, trapping several children inside. Their souls were bound to this place, forever seeking solace. One moonless night, Lena followed the whispers to the basement. There, in the dim light, she found a hidden door. Beyond it lay a charred playroom, the remnants of the old McDonald's. The children stood there, waiting, their faces frozen in eternal innocence. Lena made a choice. She would free them, even if it meant sacrificing herself. She whispered their names, urging them to move on, and as the flames engulfed her, she felt their tiny hands pulling her into the light. The next morning, the McDonald's was gone, a pile of ashes and memories. But Lena's spirit lingered, watching over the city. And if you listen closely, you might hear her laughter, echoing through the empty streets of Chicago, a haunting reminder of the girl who set the lost souls free.